You can buy a house from anywhere around the world in the US. You just need some dinero, right? You need cash. That's it, right? You don't need
Right.
to be an American. You don't need to be an immigrant. If you have cash, 200K right now, save in a bank
Mhm,
account in, like, I don't know, Cameroon. Yeah, go ahead,
mhm,
buy that house. You can. So for
mhm.
me, I really would like to be an instrument that really empower and, like, and advise people on, what could be just the best way to invest in real estate. So,
Thank
uh-huh.
you, everyone, for joining us on another episode of Iwing Marketplace Chit Chat, where we give the opportunities for entrepreneurs to talk about themselves and what they do so we can
Mm-hmm.
learn from them or connect with them. Right here, I'm with Lea Cwik. Thanks for joining us, Lea.
Thanks for having me here, and Iwing, this is a great marketplace, to have not, I mean, entrepreneur from all over, but especially African entrepreneur from all over the world. You have to be precise on that, to kind of
Mhm.
like just share their journey and showcase what they get. So thanks for having me here, Iwing.
It's a pleasure, and I'm also happy for the support that you all are giving to me, especially you, the vendors, and many other people that are searching on the platform on a daily basis. But we are here to talk about you, and we're
Yep.
here to talk about the real estate market. So, can you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to be quick here. So I'm a realtor and I'm licensed in Chicago. I would say mostly Illinois, Wisconsin, and Indiana. And so I started this journey a long, long, long time ago. It's been like 14 years, and it happened with, I guess, my obsession started when I purchased my first home in my early 20s. And but at the time, I made so many mistakes, and and it kind of like I took a step back and I said, well, maybe I should probably learn more about this whole process. So I went and took some classes and got my mortgage originator. So I was a loan officer in 2008. So I kind of like learned the front end of the financing business. And then in 2000, I would say 12, I went into the underwriting side of the business. So I kind of like learned the behind the scene, really what are those loan officer and bank are looking for to get you finally approved. And then, when I moved to Chicago about 8 years ago, I said, let me just get into real estate. It has always been a passion. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a sister, I'm a friend, I'm an open book. If anybody would like to call me anytime, I'm an open book. So yeah.
Wow, that is wonderful. Kudos to you. At the age of 20, you're already purchasing your first home. That is wonderful. But
Yes.
I mean, you and many other people there, that would like to purchase a home. What are the reasons that would encourage someone to want to buy a home?
My thing is, real estate kind of like holds value. It's just one of those things that holds and value kind of like increase over time. So it's more of this tangible asset that will, create equity in the long run. And wherever you are in the world, unless you kind of like in a bubble where, price will crash and things, market will crash. But real estate, it's kind of like a solid, just investment. And for me, it's like, if you are a renter, if you are renting, for me, if you are renting, it's like you're paying someone else's mortgage. There's no rocket science to that. So why rent, you know, buy your own house and pay your own mortgage, be your own landlord. Yeah.
So there are lots of like Africans like myself who relocated from back home, and we're here in a system that we don't even understand the dynamics, for someone new. What are the process, to buying your first home?
Yeah, no, I will say, it's great to say, well, you have to buy a house, but you have to plan it. You have to plan it from, going to a lender. And I would say, go to local lenders or like credit union, have them run an application, a mortgage application for you, or you fill out an application and you kind of like just really understand where your credit stand. Let's say if you don't have a credit, it gives you kind of like a fundamental to say, oh, let me just start the journey on building credit, right? Let's say if you have a bad credit, let me just start the journey on fixing and repairing my credit. So buying, it's a great thing, but the front end of this is really plan to buy. So when you get out there, you kind of like are more of a strong buyer. So that seller will be attracted to you. So plan this journey. Really understand your credit, your work history. What does it require in terms of your work history to get a mortgage, right? Like, and depending if you are a self-employed, if you're an entrepreneur and things like that, and also even immigration. Some of us are not here, are not fully like just legal, just even understand the immigration dynamic. It doesn't mean that you necessarily need to have a green card to have a house. I mean, you could be kind of like more on a parole status, right? Just kind of like in
Right.
between, kind of like an hybrid. And so, but there are some lenders that will be willing to take a risk on you. But my thing is really go and ask those lenders, what can you be approved for? And you start working towards that goal. Yeah.
Talking about lender,
Mm.
one of the things I know are very difficult for, people, especially us African. I go back again to our community because this is, the Iwing Marketplace. We're here to uplift the African community. I know a lot of people don't understand like how this interest thing work and how to shop for a better interest rate. Can you give
Mm.
us some little explanation about all that?
Yeah, so the tip is when you apply for a mortgage, right? You have
Mm-hmm.
about 14 days to kind of like just shop around and really literally shop around. And the shopping around is not just so much about the interest, it's the whole package, the loan terms. Really, what is it that they can offer you based on your financial situation? It's not so much about the interest, it's also about really what is it that you can afford? Like really, what's that monthly budget? So don't
Mm-hmm.
go out and say, oh, I want to spend 2,000 every month, but yet, like your finance does not show for it, right? There's some ratios that you have to kind of like be aware. There's the debt income ratio that you kind of like be mindful, and it's a case by case basis, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
interest is one thing, but there's just a lot into it. So when you go and talk to lenders, you have that 14 days period where you can talk to so many lenders. Do ask a lot of questions and see what they can offer you and see if that will work, because there's just a lot of programs out there for people. Yeah.
What are some of those questions that people can ask to know if they are, dealing with the right lender? Just can you give us one or two of such questions?
So it's when you look at like just your debt income ratio, right? There
Mm-hmm.
could be a situation where, let's say, if I shut down, let's say if I pay this card, like whatever credit card entirely, and maybe I could get a better rate.
Mm-hmm.
There was a question to ask. Like really ask the lender, look deep into my report, right? Tell me what is it that I can do to get a better rate, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there are other things like, okay, what is my advantage? You have conventional loan, you have FHA, which is available to first-time home buyer for the most part. But really study. Okay, do I have to bring 5% down? What do I get if I bring 5% down? What do I get with this loan program if I bring 20% down? With the FHA is 3.5. What is it that I get? And only you have all that, you also have the PMI, which is a private mortgage insurance. That's mostly they'll put it for people who don't put like 20% down. It can also be applied on conventional as well as FHA. So those are the things that you have to kind of like look. It's really at the end of the day, you look at the long terms, you look at what they're giving you as far as your monthly estimate, and you figure out if that's going to work for you. Yeah.
That's a good one there. Thanks for sharing this vital information. I mean, interest rate and the whole buying process for someone buying is for the first time is quite overwhelming. So
Yeah.
I think you've given many tips for someone who will be looking to buy for the first time. So now let's
Mm-hmm.
talk about people who already are ready to buy and they have the means and everything, but they don't know like how to get their offer accepted. What's the bidding process like, and how.
Oh yeah, I tell you right now, the market because of the pandemic has been very tough. So that you had this migration of people leaving the main like downtown areas to go into suburbs, and that creates just like increase the the demand in terms of just buyer, whereas the inventory is low. You know, there's not just a lot. And I think the inventory has always been the same, but it's just people are now moving around a lot more. You know, people with the work from home kind of like situation, people want a bigger house where they can have just maybe a private place to kind of like do their work, just like you working from home and stuff. So people want bigger place and people are moving around. And so to be competitive out there, really pick a good realtor, someone that really understands the market, or the local market where you want to buy and that has connection with our market. You pick a good lender. I tell you what, you can, in this country, you can apply for credit card online. You can just do all kinds of stuff like apply Rocket Mortgage, this and that. And I don't want to give any names here, but understand the dynamic of the lenders, right? Go with a lender that has reputation. Just the same way lenders get rating, even on Google and stuff like that. Go with a lender that has reputation, because real estate, us realtor, we look at it when we present offers to seller. We look at, okay, this guy has a pre-approval letter from so and so. He has a pre-approval letter for bank Y and Z. He has a pre-approval letter for bank ABC. Oh, we don't know ABC. Who's that bank? No, not good, right?
Right.
So you have to really vet those lenders and go with the one that's also has a strong reputation so your offer can get accepted. Now, there's other things with the bidding war going on right now. You have things like contingency. You have to be able to write a good offers, and the way you have to write a good offers if you work with a good realtor and who kind of like really understand the dynamic of the local market you live in, right? Because right now, I mean, there's like appraisal gap. How do you play around it? Let's say if the house is 300,000 and the bank say, well, that house might approve for like 280. Are you going to offer? And the sellers, there are tons of people that are offering money. People have a lot of cash. You might think I have my 30K. Someone probably has his 50K and bid and win that house. But here's the thing. How much cash are you willing to give if that house doesn't appraise for 300,000? You have to be able to answer that question and position yourself and say, I'm ready to give this much. Let's say you don't even have that money in your account, right? We know sometimes we don't have, but we have people around that we know, right? You can get a gift letter. You know, we do a little janky here and there, you know. We can get a gift letter for someone who has maybe an established saving that can show, well, I have an established saving and I want to give money to so-and-so so she can buy a house, right? So look at those contingency very carefully. You know, there's also the inspection contingency, which is a big thing right now, which is not something that I advise people to waive their right on inspection. Like, let's say if there's, you know, an issue with the house, it's a way for you to get out of the contract. Let's say if the terms are not good, you know, like, so the inspection is pretty big, but you kind of like have to be careful on deciding to waive your right for an inspection. So that means buying a house as is. Right. So you kind of like have to be careful on how to do that. So if there's a house that kind of like needs a lot of repair and you are into flipping, well, go ahead, buy the house as is and you repair it yourself. Right. But now if it's kind of like just a nice house ready to go, you know, preserve that inspection. So if there's anything to fix, you can negotiate with the seller on fixing those repairs.
Yeah. Okay. So talking about realtor now, let's talk a little bit about Lea Cwik. What are some of the benefits that people can get when they, you know, come to you to help them purchase a home?
Today I want to position myself more as a consultant, you know, and it's true that I'm licensed in Illinois, but I can, you know, consult with anybody all over the US, even all over the world, because here's the thing, you can buy a house from anywhere around the world in the US. You just need some dinero, right? You need cash. That's it, right? You don't need to be an American. You don't need to be an immigrant. If you have cash, 200K right now, save in a bank account in, like, I don't know, Cameroon, yeah, go ahead, buy that house. You can. So for me, I really would like to be an instrument that really empower and, you know, like, and advise people on, you know, what could be just the best way to invest in real estate. So I've been in the industry for like 14 years, you know. I don't say that I know it all, but I'm very passionate to the point I read so much about it every day. So so I want to kind of like just be a resource for my community. Yeah.
Wow, being a resource for your community. That's what we love in the Iwing Marketplace community. People that are willing to help, and give out information that will be beneficial to many people. So if you're watching this chit chat right now, we're talking to Lea, and if you want to buy a home, no matter where you are in the States, you can contact her. She can, give you vital information that you need to go ahead with the process. And Lea,
Yes.
what are some of the feedback you've gotten from helping people in our community to get their home?
You know what? The response has been amazing. Sometimes, when you do this business, you get to be so close to families that are taking this home purchase journey, and sometimes it gets very personal. So people have told me, Leah, you're very personable. You understand family dynamics are different everywhere, and so it's like, I understand those families. I understand their goal, their purchase goal, right? People buy a house for different reasons. People are into investment. Maybe they want to buy something they can hold and rent it out, and to generate passive income. So it's really understanding their goals and putting themselves in my shoes. And the feedback I've got was really just that. You have put yourself in our shoes, and we value you for that. So.
Wow, that's wonderful. And something amazing about you is that you're very bilingual. You speak English and French. That is amazing. And there's a huge French community, of Africans in the United States. So I
Yes.
wish to ask you this question. You've been selling, or you've been in the real estate market for 14 years. Have you served
Yes.
more of the English-speaking Africans or the French-speaking Africans?
Money does not have any color. Money does not have any language. I sold with like Indian people, white people, American, you name it, Chinese, Francophone speaking, French speaking people from Europe, from all over Europe, all over the world. I sold and helped people just from all over. Money does not have any color. But one thing is, my community is kind of like more dear to me just because I've been there. I've been, I came as an immigrant. I came here when kind of like in my late teens. So I came as an immigrant. It was hard. Even when I purchased my first home, I tell you, I didn't know anything about even the lingo. It was all blue. And really, when I looked at the loan program that I got, I was like, no, I should have not got that. Like it was kind of like a wake up call. Like, let's learn more about this thing so I can help and empower my community. So today I started a YouTube channel that I will share information in French. And I chose to share in French because I really do not want any ambiguity for my community when they want to purchase a house. I want them to understand things clearly. And if they have a question, they can, even if they are, let's say in Texas, they can come and ask me, hey, Leah, what do you think about this scenario? So, yeah.
That's wonderful. And I'm really, really glad that, the passion that you have just talking about this shows how committed you are in what you do. So,
Yes.
but you spoke about, when you bought your first home and, the Lea of now. What are the things that, you've learned along the way that you shouldn't have done when you were buying your first home?
Oh, yeah. So understand mortgage, like the mortgage dynamic, the interest rate market. I didn't know anything about it. Even the process. I tell you, I didn't know anything about the process. I just had a little bit of cash in my saving, and I was like, well, I have to put this cash somewhere. And it was me and my family. I guess my parents at the time. So African parents, they will encourage you. Yes, yeah, yeah, buy, buy, buy. I didn't know jack about it. I tell you. So so it was more like, okay, this house is close to the bus stop. That was it, really. That was it, close to the bus stop. What? It should have not been just that. And I think I didn't have a good interest rate when I bought my first home, and I had to refinance it at some point. But I guess if I was more informed, I could have probably get a better deal. So the lesson learned here was inform yourself, guys. Inform yourself and plan it. And on my end too, there wasn't any plan. Plan your first buy. So planning is understand your credit, understand your revenue, your income, whatever source of income you're getting, and budget things out, because don't really buy a house that's gonna cost you head to toes every month to pay, and then you become house poor. So you just live to pay your house your mortgage every month. So that's not a way to go. Yeah.
Wow, that's a good one there. I love everything you've just said right there. And if you're watching this, you can contact Lea for more information. And
Yes.
Lea, being a realtor is quite a tedious job, you know, and you're taking care of your family as well. You know, what gives you that drive to want to get up every morning and do what you're doing?
I guess, for me it's the real estate, when you buy, assist people in buying or selling, right?
Hmm.
And they get really satisfied. The smile on their face is priceless. That's really what keeps me going, and also it helps, to show my kids that, see all those pictures right there. I'm sorry. It really helped with my passion. It really helps my kid to kind of like have a role model, to understand the value of money, to respect money, and
Hmm.
respect people. Because in my line of work, I really have to respect people. I have to treat people with fairness. I have to treat people with dignity. And I talk about this kind of stuff every day at the table with my family. And thanks for the hearts, guys. Thank you. It's like, oh, I'm getting popular for a second, but no. And so talking about what I do to my kid, and watching them learn and understand. Like today, I have some
Hmm.
showings, and my son has made it things super easy for me in terms of helping me get ready, helping the little one. Then he said, "Okay, mom, you have this showing. Good luck." Just those things like that, that get me. That get me
Wow,
going.
that's
Yeah,
amazing. That's really wonderful.
yeah.
So this is when, you know, we give some tips for the African community in particular. What do you have to
Yes.
say to people who want to buy home in the African community for their first time? What advice do you have for them?
Don't keep that conversation in your kitchen. Go out there, talk to lenders, apply. Even if you don't have money in your account, your bank account, just apply and see what are your options. Don't keep that conversation into yourself. Don't be the type that will say, "Oh, I'm gonna buy a house in 2023." No, go now. Look at options so you are ready in 2023. So it's a process. It could be a situation where really someone does not have the credit that they need. Someone doesn't utilize their credit card effectively. So for me, it's more of a actionable plan than just a plan. Take action, guys. Take action.
Wow, amazing. So, what else do you have to say about Sia Civic as a realtor? What else do you have to say if there's anything we haven't touched?
Oh, well, if there's anything we haven't touched, guys, feel free to contact me. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. I guess Aaron's going to probably share my phone number as well. If
Mhm.
there's anything you guys want to learn or find out or have question about, just feel free to contact me. So, yeah.
And before we go, what are the things you do to keep for fun, you know, apart from, you know, your daily routines?
Oh yeah, no. Apart from my daily routine, I love to eat, and I love good wine. I love food really. Not to cook so much, but I love to eat good food, good like spiced food like home and stuff.
Mhm.
And I love running, so I'm a runner, and I've done a couple of marathons, and so that's really what keeps me just sane.
Wow, that's amazing. And I love the fact that, you know, even from your picture, it shows that you are a big athlete, you know, you're looking like a model,
Thank you.
fantastic
I'll take
shape.
that.
You
Thank
eat
you.
and then you're still looking trim like this, then you
Yeah,
must be doing
no,
a lot of running.
not so much, but no, I just love to eat. And now I guess we have to think about eating healthy as we age, and so I'm going towards like healthy food, but I'm still an eater. I love to eat, believe me.
That
So it's like if you serve me arrow, I would just get a little bit of water fufu, but a lot of arrow and some meat. So
I
so
do that now. before my fufu used to be like this when I was in the 20s, but now it's like a tennis ball.
There you go. You gotta watch those. Yeah.
Well,
So yeah.
thank you so much, Lea. This has been a wonderful conversation. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Isaac. Iwin, I'm sorry. And thanks for all you do,
Mhm.
and, kudos to you. And I can't wait to see you when you are in Chicago. So
Definitely, definitely. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day. Thank you all for joining us today. Keep supporting our community. This interview is going to be live on our YouTube channel. Stay tuned and share. Thanks so much,
all right.
Lea. We're
Thanks,
out.
guys.